Would you like to live a vibrant life? Would you love to realize all of your dreams and your visions? You may have heard that 80% of success is just showing up. Thus, go ahead and pat yourself on the back and say, yes, I can. You made it here. Thank you so much for being here and for taking this step towards your success. I'm curious if you've ever had a bright idea or a vision or a dream, and you started to tell somebody about it, and they started to tell you how hard it was going to be, that it's not possible, it's never been done before, you don't have the right resources or skills, it's too much money, or you've heard there's nothing we can do for you, get your affairs in order. And maybe you even thought yourself, I'll never get better. So maybe you can relate to this, or at least relate to not wanting to hear things like that. So what we want to do is the opposite here. We want to help you magnetize success towards yourself and realize all of those visions and dreams, overcoming any of those doubts that are going to come up along the way from others or from yourself. My name is Avital. Siri, when I do talk to text, Siri thinks my name is I'll be tall. Now, if you saw me standing, you would know that I'm not that tall, and that's why this is funny, but I guess there's still hope for me. What we are doing here is full-bodied success mastery for top performance. And I want you to write down on your notes or in the chat, full-bodied success mastery. Straight out of college, I had an engineering degree, and then I got a job as a program manager at Microsoft. So I was easily the envy of my classmates and the pride of my parents. And Microsoft is a great company. Yet I quickly realized it was not for me. And how many of us at age 20 know what we want to do for the rest of our lives? Have you ever changed your career or seen others do it, right? That's common today. But back then it wasn't so common. And I left work crying every day. So I secretly planned my escape to sell my condo and start traveling around the world in 8 months. I'm finally on the trip. I'm finally crossing the border from US into Mexico. And on my very first night, I was talking to this gentleman who was staying in the hostel with me. And he told me about how he would travel around, and then when he got somewhere he wanted to live, he would stay there and get a job in computers. And then he would travel some more, live somewhere else and get a job in computers. And he said, I think I want to go to New Zealand next, and I'll find a job in computers. But if I can't find a job in computers, I'll just do something else. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Of course, I'm thinking, remember back then you chose your career going into college and you stuck with it. So I'm thinking, no career, no identity, no direction. How could this be? I mean, this changed my life forever. Oh my gosh, life could just be anything that you make of it. And despite my ballet teacher in college telling me I would never amount to anything, I found myself performing at the Miss South India pageant, nationally televised. Despite me being held back in school for my writing inabilities, I published a best-selling 4-time award-winning book, Healing Happens. I'm curious if you have a book in you, and I'll give you a hint to the answer. And the answer is yes, because we all have a story. And if you're listening to this video, if you're watching this webinar, it's because you have something that you're trying to accomplish. You have a vision, you have a passion, right? There's something in you. So there is a message in you that can get out there. Thus, I want you to write down in your notes or in the chat, I have a story. I have a story. You have a story. We all have a story. And let's not let those doubts or other things block us. Let's get it out there. Now, here's the key story that I came here to talk about. which is being diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder and healing beyond what the doctors told me was possible. So there I was at 27 years old, and I was a yoga and fitness instructor. That's what I changed my career to. And then I quickly became a teacher trainer, fitness director. I had my own business. I'm teaching 25 to 30 classes all over town, known as the Energizer Bunny. Then I started to have issues with fatigue, with my hair falling out. My muscles were turning to fat, and I was getting weaker than my students. You can imagine the concern I had if you imagine not being able to do the key skills for your work or your favorite hobbies, how you would feel. I did what most of us would do. I went to the doctor. The doctor diagnosed me with an autoimmune disorder called Hashimoto's, as well as hypothyroidism, and just gave me a large dosage of medication and sent me out the door saying, that's it for life. And I figured, okay, this is kind of like an arranged marriage. If I'm stuck with this, I might as well learn how to live best with this. So I started reading books and looking online at whatever information I could get, going to all different kinds of health and healing practitioners. I even went all the way to India, and I studied one-on-one with an Ayurvedic doctor there. All of these experiments were helping steady me and level me out, which is the first miracle when you're on a hormone medicine. Then I moved into a yoga community, and I started meditating regularly. Now, if you've meditated, you know it generally makes you feel really good. Well, after a couple months of this, I started to feel really bad. But I went to the doctor. The doctor ran tests on me and said, oh, you're overdosed on your medication. So we lowered the dosage. I started to feel better again. I kept meditating more. I started to not feel well again. I went back to the doctor. We tested me. We said I was overdosed in my medication. We lowered the medication again. And that continued on for quite some time. Now, you can imagine with that miracle, I really, really wanted to share that with other people. And I continued to get my training in everything I could in yoga and meditation and energy healing and neurolinguistic programming. I started to lead programs around the world and online. And now here's the key. When you're going out there and you're going to go buy, let's say, a blue Honda CRV, what do you notice everywhere? Blue Honda CRVs, right? It's the reticular activating system. So it was the same thing with the health stories. I start meeting people who were told they're going to die in a few months or a few hours, but I was meeting them years later when they were fully healthy. So I had to put those stories in a book, and I started interviewing all of these different types of health and healing experts, and I chose 17 of them to go into my book, Healing Happens, Stories of Healing Against All Odds. So it's both East and West types of medicine, and they're repeating stories of people healing from cancer, from MS, from Lyme, from bipolar, right? There's over 20 diseases that are addressed in the book. The other interesting thing is that a lot of these techniques are things that we can do in just a minute or two, and people find that they feel more energetic, more joyful, more healthy. So you can imagine again how phenomenal it is to be able to put something out there like this and this wisdom. And here we are. We've got this book of all of these people overcoming seemingly insurmountable challenges. And what do? I make a list of all the success strategies. And I realize that the same success strategies that we apply to our health, we can also apply to other areas of life. And maybe you've noticed that you can use the same success strategies in multiple areas. So I coined the Full-Bodied Success Mastery strategies and picked the top 4 to share in my programs. Now, of course, we only have 15 minutes total, so we're not going to get to all of them and get in depth with them, but I will tell you how to access all of them. And by the way, if you want to read a free chapter of my book, just go to freegiftfromavital.com And you'll read the first interview, which is shifting from surviving to thriving. It is a woman's story when she called Coach Ruben thinking that she was about on her deathbed from diabetes. Yet within 10 days, he helped her get her blood sugar back to normal. These are the types of miracles that we can have. And it starts with focusing on your reason to live. This is the first full-bodied success mastery strategy. And I want you to do this with me. Put your hands on your heart. And then you're going to reach your hands forward and out as if there's this vast, wide open space of potential of reasons to live. Go ahead and do this with me and say this: reason to live. Yes. And now you can also write down in your notes or in the chat, reason to live. It doesn't matter if it's wanting to see your kids grow up, wanting to watch your grandkid walk down the aisle, seeing the success of your business. My favorite story was of a woman who wanted to finish watching a soap opera series. It doesn't matter. The key is we want to get the force of our reason to live to be stronger than the force of the disease. This is physics. But if for some reason that doesn't work, keep in mind that you're going to be much happier in the process of even having health issues, of having whatever challenges are coming up with your business. If you're doing what you love, even a little bit of that makes a big difference on your entire life. So we're getting ourselves to feel happier. And here's the key. This is what's really, really fun, because it actually simplifies our journey towards health and healing, our journey towards livelihood and success. You need to go have fun. That's your prescription. You don't have to necessarily do all of these trainings and all of this growth work. You need to go have fun. And this is why I've started to bring my work to this place to create more of those opportunities. So we've actually gone from allowing all these people to come together with their reasons to live. And in 3 months, we created a 250-person charity extravaganza where we had a fashion show where sponsors got outfits designed and got to walk the runway. And we had an entertaining date auction, a dance performance that I got to perform. And we had escape room and balloon dresses, and we made a book out of the event. You can check out that extravaganza at valentinesoiree.com. And I want to quickly share with you one of the stories from my book. And it's Mamie Jean Lamley's. She was first told she could never have kids. And then she ended up having 3 beautiful kids. Then she was on stage doing her passion, teaching Think Like a Leader. And she got the call that she needed to go to the hospital immediately. It was a very trying experience, having advanced stage cancer and having multiple surgeries, and wondering if she was going to die, but wanting to stay alive for her kids, wanting to also keep her vibe high during that time to be supportive to her kids. This was her driver to make it through, and to make it through with flying colors. So her family is her number 1 priority, but her second priority, get this, is to empower 5 million women. So imagine going from this place of I could die from cancer to I can empower 5 million women. How amazing is that? And this can happen for you. But the key is you need to make sure that you're really expanding the vision of what your reason to live can be, of what your passion and your purpose is. And this is also why I've created exercises to help us amplify that. And that is in the Full-Bodied Success Mastery course. So that's where you're getting the entire roadmap to success and magnetizing more of that success by having the right kind of mindset, by overcoming the roadblocks that come up and staying motivated and joyful in the work that you do. Just visit healinghappensforyou.com and go to the courses there. And then that's where you can access the full program. Now, Einstein drew a circle on a board and he said, this is what you know. He drew another circle around it and he said, this is what you can learn from the library, right? From today, Google. But he said, outside of that space is imagination, the unlimited potential beyond what we already know. This is the potential that I wish for you, to be able to not only meet the visions that you might have, but to exceed them, to be able to sing your sweet song. Thank you so, so much for being here. And please reach out to me and connect. My general website is avitalmiller.com. And then you can also connect with me at info@avitalmiller.com. Thank you so much.